Pod 5, I think we're at. I think we've got a couple of topics. We're just having a quick chat off air about a few crazy things going on. Pickleball, marathons, functional trading. Where do we start? Gold Coast Marathon the weekend. You're just saying that's just occurred and a few crazy things going on. Always isn't in not just the Gold Coast marathons, but there's always a few crazy things in marathons, right?
Oh yeah, you always get your elite runners. I mean, as I said, 2:07 won it, which is, it's a good time. But as you know, at an elite level, you expect marathon runners now to be running very close to 2 hours.
Aussie?
No, international.
Where from?
I know the woman that won it was from Japan. That ran the 2:15. Oh, I can't remember where the guy was from, but but no, no locals. I think the best guy ran 2:12, our best Aussie. So, I mean, they're still very good times, but there's a lot of runners between 2:12 and 2 hours in the world.
Yes.
Tons. The most notable, I think, was a girl, as I said, just off air, who decided to have a crack at them. She was a 3K runner, decided to have a crack at a marathon and bangs out a 2:25. I mean,
yeah,
that's insane.
It says here that July 23, Australia's Brett Robinson retained his title in the men's half marathon, while the Gold Coast Marathon World Athletics label road race on Sunday was won by Japan's Naoki Kiyoma in the men's course record, it says, though.
Yeah. Was a course record, yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, you might want to check while you're there what the guy ran. I think he broke 4 hours running it backwards. I know.
I mean, people run them in crazy suits and, with all sorts of stuff going on.
But anyway. I just can't imagine what your glutes and hamstrings 42 Ks backwards would just. I know when I do backward drills on the track, it just buries me. I couldn't go 42 Ks backwards.
I've been pulling the sled backwards in the gym, with a quite heavy weight on it. Oh, your hamstrings are smoked.
They are. They just light up. So backwards running, I just think I don't think he'd walk for a minimum 10 days. Have you got it? Can you see it?
No, this is an older one by the looks. No, I haven't been it. No, that's actually old. It's July 19.
Anyway, he got a bit of coverage, but I didn't see his time, but he did it. He finished it. One of our athletes did the 5K one day and 10K the next, but he's 82.
Wow.
Yeah. With 5K on Saturday and 10K on Sunday, and finished both of them. There was just under 25,000 entrants, so it's a big deal.
25,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that. These types of runs are getting, these types of events, are getting bigger and bigger because they attract a group of people, because technically anyone can go and do one. I mean, whether you can run it in a decent time, but, there's a lot of people just go out and just want to participate. So it's like I've been following these obstacle courses, obstacle course racing, and I can't believe how big they are and how much momentum they're gaining around the world. Huge.
Massive. So, like Sam does it. Like Sam and her kids, my partner, they love those obstacle course things.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story about it. Every time they go, because there's always a big pile of mud they've got to get through, they come home with like half a dozen pairs of brand new Adidas and Nike shoes that get stuck in the mud, and people just abandon them.
What?
They put their foot in, foot comes out, they just abandon their shoe. So they got like brand new Nikes. They bring them home, clean them all up, and the kids have got Nikes and Adidas shoes for the next 2 years, unless their foot grows. But they did one just recently, and they came home, and I'm talking about $200-300 pairs of shoes.
Wow.
Yeah, new brand. It's bizarre. They told me, they said they couldn't believe it. Every year they go there, they get $600 worth of shoes for free. Just digging them out of the mud. Yeah.
What I have seen is some of those races though, where they have the barbed wire. It's literally like a military course. You got to crawl under the barbed wire. And there was one year where the wire was electric.
Oh, really?
It gave you electric shock. It was like the cattle fences. But
that's a bit cool.
I think someone got quite injured or quite hurt from it. It actually gave him quite a big zap. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming they've actually stopped that. But yeah, marathon's interesting. I remember one of my friends years ago, the Gold Coast Marathon was her mum. She went and ran, and she'd never run before. She took up running at about 40 or 42. And at the Gold Coast Marathon, she ran 3:04 as a
Yeah.
42-year-old woman that's never run.
Yeah, that's pretty handy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She was just
That's
she
good
was
running.
built for as a runner.
Yeah.
But she was just saying to me that the course is really flat and just really good conditions. And yeah, so
Are made for marathon up here. If you want to run fast times, simply because they just run up and down the coast and it's dead flat.
yeah, for sure. Tani Ruckle still holds the women's Melbourne Marathon record,
Oh, does she? What is it? Do you know?
2:34.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Um, I think I might stand correct. It might be 2:31. But the old marathon, it's the old marathon. Can't even speak the I'm so tired. The old Melbourne Marathon course, which they changed. That particular course was really difficult because you ran along the coast and it was really windy all the time.
Yeah.
So it was actually
Yeah.
much harder. They've actually changed it now. I think it goes around the city now. It used to go down the highway down the beach, and there was part of it where you're fully exposed to the wind straight off the Melbourne Bay, Port Phillip Bay, and yeah, Tani still holds that record. I think it was Frankston and Melbourne, or the other way, whichever way they went. So yeah, she actually ran a pretty handy time for that.
Well, speaking of handy, and I don't know the validity of this, but a guy was telling me the other day, the Hawaiian Ironman, which is, I think it's 3.8 swim and 180K bike ride and a marathon. Some bloke recently, right, that went in that, he won it, of course. He did the swim, then the 180K bike, and then banged out a 2 hours, 32-minute marathon after a 3.8 swim and 180Ks on a push bike. That's insane.
It is insane. You wonder how. The endurance capacity of some of these people at the moment is just
Oh,
insane.
you wonder what it does to your body. I'm just thinking as well.
Oh,
Like, it
definitely
can't
long
be good
term.
for
No.
you.
Peter Attia, that doctor that I follow, the Drive, his podcast is called online, the longevity doctor. He was a triathlete and also an endurance swimmer. He swam some Hawaiian channel there and back. I think it was I can't remember, 20 hours or whatever it was, and I think he actually held the record. And he was saying, because the amount of running he used to do, long distance running, just how bad it was longevity wise, after a while. And he's given it
Oh,
away
yeah.
now. He doesn't do that anymore. But yeah, some of these feats, there's two Dutch guys, two young guys. They're coached by an engineer. He's not even a scientist, but he was I think he's a mechanical engineer or something, because he's obviously so good at math. He got into the sports arena, and I think he studied sports science now. They're the two fastest triathletes in the world. They train by the same coach. They virtually race each other in every race around the world. And he just went crazy on data and just
Yeah.
pulled all the data apart and literally built these guys a training program around data only. And they're now the two best triathletes in the world. Go.
I was going to say, there was those two brothers, from the UK, the Brownlee brothers. You remember them? They were for a long time right at the top of that game as well. They were phenomenal.
Yeah, it seems to be that I don't know if I don't follow it, so I don't know if there's the US are right up there anymore, but these Dutch guys just kill it. I don't know if they do full Ironman. It might be just the Olympic distance.
The Olympic course,
Yeah.
shorter.
Um,
Um,
I was out for dinner the other night. I'm not too sure if I told you this after dinner. I think I did, about the guy that actually the swimmer. So I was telling you about Jason Kajalis as well.
oh,
I know
yes, yes.
I might have been telling Anthony. Actually, I think I was telling Anthony as well. But this guy the other night, like, he's 62, and last year he swam the English Channel.
Oh, mad. I know, because I know that English Channel, because I've watched a few people prepare for it. When they're chunking up, they reckon they drop about 15 to 20 kilo over that 22 mile.
Yeah.
Because of the coldness of the water and how many calories they're burning to get across the channel, because they have to cover themselves all in grease and stuff, to keep
fat,
warm.
some sort of, he
Yeah.
said the water temperature wasn't bad, it was 17, but because of the current, you can't swim straight. Like he showed us on the map. It's like this.
Correct.
It's so far, but it's 15 hours. 15 hours in the water swimming.
But all of these types of things and all this endurance stuff, which has come very popular now, like I watched something a while ago about some lunatic, and it was a woman that tried to swim from Cuba to Florida.
Yeah.
And the guy in the boat, he was in there. He had one job. There was one guy on the boat had one job.
Keep the
Shark
sharks
spot.
away.
Yeah. No, they couldn't keep them away. It was a matter he's to spot them and say shark and get her. But she wasn't. She got out the water. It's a failed attempt. So she had to stay in the water. She could stop swimming, but she couldn't get out. Otherwise, it
Wow.
wouldn't be recognized. So the shark's in the water. She's in the water. She just goes over and hangs onto the side of the boat while they're trying to like make sure this shark doesn't come and bite her. Like,
What type of
hey,
sharks are down there? Do you know?
down between Cuba and Florida,
Yeah.
um,
Bull
they've
sharks and
there are plenty of bull sharks down there, but bull
yeah.
sharks tend to be in the shallow water. Out in the open ocean, you're getting more the southerns and tigers. Uh, you know, and they're rarely 4 foot long out in the
Yeah.
open ocean. If you see one, it's normally big.
There wouldn't be many great whites down there, right? I think the water would be too warm
There
for them.
are there are great whites. There are great whites down there, but they're not like as prevalent as say in some of like Western Australia or down the southern parts of Australia as well. And we say that because, as you know, up at Port Stephens, that's where that's where they breed, and there's a lot of juveniles. Once they get to about 2.5 meters, they head south.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. It's
And
why
I know
people get.
they're more spotted off the west coast of the US as well. I think great whites as opposed to that southern.
There
No,
are,
there's
but yeah,
I think I read somewhere last year, just off topic about sharks, that we still have the most fatalities, shark attacks, and that are fatal. But Florida actually has the largest number of shark attacks.
yeah, because of the waters, and a lot of
Yeah.
the waters in Florida too are not clear.
Mm,
And bull sharks, they're an ambush predator, so they like those like muddy kind of like discolored waters
yeah.
because then their prey can't see them. So and bull sharks love to be in 4 or 5 foot of water. That's what they
Yeah.
hunt in. So and that's where people swim. That's why bull sharks are responsible for the most attacks ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
whereas over on the west coast, where I was once at Encinitas,
Hmm.
it's there's heaps of those like spotted harbour seals that
Yeah.
lounging around on the rocks.
Yeah.
And just out from there, there's a huge undersea like gorge or a canyon, and the great whites patrol up and down that. They wait for them to swim
Yeah.
out to feed, and then they come up and chomp on them because that's their favourite food,
Yeah.
the sea. And
um,
literally, there's surfers there all the time. Very rarely the sharks will bite one of the surfers because they just know the difference. They know the
yeah.
surf is not their food.
Yeah. Interesting,
But they're
right?
also mature great whites. They're not juveniles.
I don't think I could actually. I mean, I don't have any fear in the water, but I said to someone just the other day, like when I swim over at Manly, and every now and then I go over early enough and it's still dark, 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's just a weird thing swimming in the ocean when it's dark. But I can't imagine swimming in a channel knowing that there's, sharks there and swimming that far in the open water. Um, it's just kind of crazy to me to think. I think my mind would actually wander too much.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of sharks off Shelley Beach in Sydney. I know a lot of paddlers that get bumped out there just by bull sharks.
Yes, yeah, I've heard that.
But they're just curious. They're coming up to see what you are, and when they realise you're not food, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's quite unnerving. And I know another swimmer named Emma. She would go down every morning and swim from Manly to Shelley,
Hmm.
across that stretch of
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
And she said, yeah, you see them,
yeah,
but they tend to never bother you. They just sort of know what's their food and what's not. But having said that, when you're at open water, like at sea, if you fall into the ocean at sea, um, the sharks will come up to see what it is. Often when we were out fishing 30, 40 nautical miles out to sea, if we saw driftwood or anything like that or something, you'd go straight at it because fish hover around it and then
yeah,
the shark will be far away. So it's just completely different swimming at the shore versus if you jump at like I see people and I've seen videos of it where people have been 100 nautical miles out to sea on a calm day and think it's a good idea to get out of the boat and they're in 2 kilometers deep of water. That's a bad idea.
There was
You know,
a viral video going around the other day of a couple on a paddleboard, and they had a boat with them. They were just paddling around the board, and the sharks started to chase them on the paddleboard. And the people on the
yeah.
boat were calling them back. One girl got across, the other guy was actually still paddling around. The shark just coming up right underneath them. It was actually pretty scary even to watch.
Was that were they at sea?
Yeah, that's sea.
Yeah, stupid. Just
Yeah.
absolutely stupid to do it at sea. I mean, I've and I just know when we used to fish when we were bored, like if there was no tuna running anywhere and we were at 30, 40 nautical miles out, all we had to do was throw something out into the water, and you can bet your life within not too short of space of time there'd be a Mako. You know, and the world record, by the way, for Mako is 505 kilos.
It's a big
That's
shark.
that's a big fish. And there and you know, that's a big deep water. We're so lucky they don't come anywhere near the shore. They
Yeah, for
stay way
sure.
out at sea because they're quite and they're one of the fastest fish in the ocean. They've been clocked at, you know, 70 k's an hour. They're not out swimming them.
Talking about these crazy feats, do you know who
Anyway,
the Iron Cowboy is?
no, who's the Iron Cowboy?
You need to we get a bit of time, I'll do a bit more research on him. But I've seen him interviewed on the Rich Roll podcast as well. The Iron Cowboy, the story of the 50-50-50 triathlon is a true story of James Lawrence, aka the Iron Cowboy. 50-day journey to complete 50 Ironman distances in 50 consecutive days in 50 states.
Oh my God,
He did
why?
a full Ironman every day in a different state for 50 days straight.
Mental.
I've seen him interviewed. He's a really, really nice guy. He's so calm. He's just a really, but man, his mental capacity is just beyond. He did something bigger than that. Then he went actually did something even longer. I think he did 100 days straight, but he did it from home. So every night he got back to his house. But that broke him. Like he was just halfway through it. He said he was falling apart. He came good and got through it though, but 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states.
I can't imagine.
No, I can I. It's just, but some of these feats, what the human body can actually do, like this Goggins, some of the stuff that Goggins has done,
Oh yeah, he's a
David
freak.
Goggins, it's just phenomenal what people can actually really do if they put their mind to it. Their pain threshold is just
Oh,
incredible.
I saw a doco actually just a while ago on an Australian couple. They were in their 60s. They ran a marathon every single day for 365 for a whole year. 365 days a year, they ran one marathon. You should have seen. They lived in a caravan, and the back part of their caravan was just full of all the shoes they wore out. They went
Oh my
through that many
God.
pairs of shoes, and they said they survived with a blender on these green things they used to blend up and drink. All this stuff they used to blend up and just drink it every day. And they ran 365 marathons.
Fit but not healthy though, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Fit, if you can call that fitness,
Yeah.
it's like someone asked me that the other day. Someone looked at me and said, "Oh God, I wish I was as fit as you." And I said, "I'm actually not fit at all." I said, "I'm fast, but
Yeah.
I'm not under." If you said that, if you looked at a real traditional definition of fitness, I don't have it.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's exactly the point. What is the definition of fitness? You know, as a sprinter, you're fit.
Well, you
You
could
know,
say that, but if
yes,
you put me,
but I
yeah,
would
under
say that you
30%,
are, as a sprinter, you are fit.
sure. So I have sprint fitness.
Yes,
It's a
correct.
very specific type of fitness.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
because most people just define fitness by endurance, I suppose, and what you can
endurance,
do for, a very long period of time.
correct.
But, fitness is a very broad, for me
Oh yeah,
today, fitness is, as we are chatting before about offline, about more functional, having endurance, having some sort of strength, having some sort of speed, some sort of mobility, some sort of flexibility and blah, blah, blah. And it's a little bit like I just mentioned before about the difference between health and fitness. There's plenty of people that are actually fit, but they're not actually healthy.
no, yeah, and there's plenty of people that do tons of things that don't actually enhance their own well-being
Yeah.
in terms of the quality of their life. It actually detracts from it.
Yeah, for sure.
Arguably, I would say CrossFit does that.
Yeah.
I don't believe CrossFit adds to when you see some of the injuries that come out of CrossFit, particularly to do with spinal injuries. I think, what are you doing? I think it's just dumb.
Yeah, I think most of those sports in CrossFit definitely, when it gets to a particular level, I don't know enough about CrossFit. I've actually never participated, never been to a CrossFit gym in my life. I know what they do, I know the exercises, but I don't know if, like even beginner athletes that go to these CrossFit gyms, they try and get them to do some of these crazy stuff. And I think the problem with CrossFit, my problem's always been it's too technical, for the majority of people out there.
It is too technical, and and they're trying to do exercises just for the sake of the exercise, as opposed to let's do it. Let's take a traditional exercise and see how hard we can make it.
Yeah.
for the sake of it, like doing push-ups, handstand push-ups. Why?
Yeah, what
Like,
they've done there though is they've integrated a lot of gymnastics into CrossFit as well. They have, CrossFit. They've made it sort of endurance based. You got to have some speed, got to have some strength, and now they've brought this whole gymnastics component. And what's interesting, the girls that have done extremely well in CrossFit all have a gymnastics background, because some of the most extreme stuff that you have to do is so hard to learn. Like to be able to walk whatever they have to walk 30 meters on their hands, that takes a very, very long time to learn. I mean, that's, years of technique. So, yeah, I don't know.
well,
It's not sort of my thing.
interestingly, the Sunday just gone by at the track, 5 CrossFitters actually walked up to me and just said, "Listen, we're going to do some running, and can we just have lanes 1 and 2?" And I said, "Yeah. We're going to run wide today, so knock yourself out, you know." And then we watched them, and it was like these guys. I mean, I can't do what they do, but when they were trying to run, they were watching what we were doing. And we had a 100, 250, 100 session, which is, around 100, rhythm 100, walk around, push a 250 and rhythm out another 100. And we were doing multiple sets of that as some 400-meter grind work. And we were gliding around pretty comfortably. These guys looked like they were running in quicksand. They were it was just ugly. It just didn't look right. And because they were carrying so much muscle too, every stride looked like a struggle, and they'd run 150 meters and they were gassed,
Yeah.
absolutely smashed. Like,
But trying to run too fast probably as well.
well, they don't understand, and it took me a while to learn this as well. And actually, I thank Mike for this. Mike's the one that really helped me learn this, is pacing.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But all their mechanics are wrong too. Their mechanics, they're trying to muscle it. They're not foot striking. They're foot striking in front of their body, and they're trying to muscle through the tighter they get, the more they try and muscle it, and then they just fall off a cliff.
I remember years ago I used to watch the footballers, Aussie rules footballers who are, typically quite good runners, but watch them try and actually sprint. And every now and then we do sprint drills. I remember years ago when I was at Fitzroy, and I was doing all the drills, and the guy came over to me and said, "Do you actually run?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." And no one else can do the drill. So yeah, that's pretty typical though, isn't it? But they are, they're trying to do many, many different things. So to be good at one particular thing is quite challenging.
Yeah, but a lot of CrossFitters, they're jack of everything, average at everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't see them. I mean, but I don't see it as really functional, because I see the dangers of it, with where you're trying to take average people and turn them into something that they're just not really capable of doing.
Well, I think that's more the problem, isn't it? That they're trying to, the average person that just doesn't have that capacity, and they don't give them enough time, I believe, to actually learn the exercises. That's part
Oh,
of the
they
problem.
don't.
The ramp up period is too quick.
So fast.
I
I,
think the
I went
big
to a
thing,
CrossFit gym for a month, and it was the ramp up was way too fast for me.
yeah, I'd like to go. I mean, I did think about it years ago. I always thought Anthony might be quite good at it, just
I
because
think
he
he would.
was, he's strong, but he's quite functional. Like he could actually still run and he could still do particular things. But going back to how technical that sport is, and to learn to actually power clean and, clean and jerk correctly. I mean, Anthony, part of his testing for the Olympics, he had to do some, power cleans and clean and jerk. It was just, for whatever reason, as a bobsetter, they made it as a test for you, which I still don't agree with. But I went and employed the Australian women's Olympic lifting coach to actually teach him. I didn't try and do it myself. I didn't try and find some numbskull in a bloody gym somewhere. I went and found the best coach we could, and happened to be on the Northern Beaches up at Narrabeen, the women's Olympic lifting coach. And he said, "Yep, bring him up and I'll help him." And he was
Yeah.
amazing. And, Anthony still couldn't lift that well, but we got to that point where his lifts were good enough to get him through. But,
Yeah.
and that was going twice a week and being taught by, an Olympic level coach that was actually teaching all the women. So, yeah, that's my problem with CrossFit. That's why I'm training for this. Man, it's killing me. This high rocks. I'm so freaking tired at the moment. But I'm still enjoying it, and I still think it's going to be a really big event because it's predominantly lower body, and it is it's let me call it a hybrid athlete. You've got to be a better runner as opposed to CrossFit. There's more running involved in this. But it's none of the exercises are complex. They're
Yeah.
exercises that you would do in the gym on a quite a regular basis. It's
Yeah.
just the combination of them that makes them really, really difficult because you've got
Right.
to do so many in a row.
Mm.
But a ski erg is not that hard. A rowing machine is not that hard. There's some
Yeah.
technique to it, by the way. But
Rowing, yeah.
it's not like you couldn't teach someone probably to row in 2 or 3 lessons, right?
Of course.
As opposed to teaching someone to power clean. I'm finding it really interesting. But my God, not having a great cardio base and starting out
Mm.
from scratch for me, it
Mm.
is killing me.
Yeah, it would. But it's like anything. If anything that where you haven't used your muscles or your energy systems in a certain way for some time, it's going to grab you for a while. That's pretty normal.
Yeah,
But it's exactly the same every time we go into our 400-meter off season. Like my 400-meter training partner and I, we rolled around a 400 on Sunday in 57 odd, and it nearly killed us.
yeah,
We looked at each other as we do every year and go, "Oh, geez, thank God it's only July."
yeah,
Because where the hell are we going to get this? But it's like we didn't have any more to give. And you think, and we always wonder where it comes from. But when the season comes around, you tend to find it. But you just question yourself every time. Like 57, I was gassed out. I was just like, man, I'm in trouble.
yeah.
Um,
It's a
so,
horrible feeling. I'm in that space at the
oh,
moment, just trying to build my endurance up. I think it's going to take me probably 90 minutes to complete the race or the event,
oh
let's
wow,
call it. I
that's a
think
long time.
it's a long time, mate. I did half. I've done both halves, the front half and the back half, separate occasions, and they've taken me exactly 38 minutes to do the first half, and then the following day that I did it 24 hours later, the second half. But it's hard. It's definitely
Oh,
testing me. I mean, some of the things. I mean, it gets harder as you go on as well because you just accumulation of more fatigue. But having to do 80 meters, you've got to do 80 meters of a burpee with a broad jump.
80 meters.
80 meters, you've got to do burpee broad jumps for 80 meters.
Oh,
And then as soon as you finish that, you've got to run 1 kilometer
oh.
straight away.
Mm.
It's wretched. I can tell you. Like I did it the other
I'd be
night.
miserable.
So it's, by the time I got to the broad jumps, I'd run 4 kilometers.
Mm.
And that was the fourth station or the fifth station. And man, I literally was just laying on the ground. I don't know that I could have got up and I still had 4 kilometers of running to go if I was doing the whole event. And I literally couldn't get off the floor. I was smoked.
Oh,
So
I would be in misery.
yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I'm really enjoying it. I have to say, like my heart rate's gone really low. I'm really enjoying the challenge of it. And as I said, because I'm just tired. My body doesn't hurt. I'm just fatigued. I've got
tired. Yeah.
sore legs. Yeah, I'm just tired every day. So it's really good. My shoulders are fine because nothing is overhead. Um,
Yeah.
the only thing I have to do I have to push the sled, but it's no big deal. It's just all legs again. You have to pull the sled with a rope attached to it, but that's arms. You use your body a bit. The only exercise that you really use your arms or the burpees to push up, and you do a farmer's carry.
Oh, yeah.
With dumbbells.
Mm.
Sorry, kettlebells. I've got to carry 24 kilogram kettlebells for 200 meters.
Mm.
Um, and that's, but otherwise it's all legs, wall balls and, rowing. And so it's
Yeah.
just fatigue and it's that
Yeah.
accumulative fatigue at the moment for the training. But yeah, I'm trying to get my running under control because what I've realized is I've got to watch my heart rate. The moment I spike my heart rate and I can't get it back down, I just blow up. It just gets worse and worse and worse every station. So I'm really focused on trying to keep my heart rate down to a certain level.
Yep.
And trying to find those areas where you can actually say, okay, I can have a little bit of a rest here. But
Yeah.
it's definitely challenging. So what
I've,
else you
I've,
got? Oh,
I've,
sorry.
I was just going to tell you, I've really focused. I'm doing a really long build this season, in terms of my cardio, which has never been great. And so I've really focused on some of my really long cardio, and I tested it today, just doing moderate to hard bike ride today for 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and heart rate never went over 118.
Wow.
So it's good. So I've really found a really good space for my cardio at the moment because I've been doing a lot of, because I've been training with and rabbiting for an 800 meter runner,
Mm-hmm.
been getting volume in but slower volume, just a lot of repetitive slower volume. So I've reached a point where I can hold a speed and feel really comfortable, and then my heart doesn't even go up
Yeah,
because the
that's
heart
awesome.
it wouldn't go over 120.
Wow.
So yeah, but now I've got that base under me. I actually now need to shorten it back up and get back to, 250, 300 work and build the speed endurance into it. And I'm hoping, because I can't do too much absolute speed, my body just won't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to build it from that long base and do a long, slow build into some of those quicker 250-meter work, which is going to come like in October.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at, but I've got a really good, nice cardio base.
Yeah, it's a super good feeling when your base is pretty sound. Well, we might call that a wrap for now. Until next time, enjoy your week.